Hello, it is Mac here, and today I'm going to be talking about the two new Sumo maps that came to GTA Online in the Tornado event week. Now, last Friday, Rockstar added two new Sumo maps into GTA Online, and you have the Sumo 5 and Sumo 6. Now, in the background, you will be seeing some gameplay from these maps, and Sumo 5 takes place at the SS Bulker, and you know, you're on top of these shipping containers. I think it's at the same area as I believe the heist setup for the Casco. It's in that area, I believe. And this map is okay. I haven't played it as much as Sumo 6, however, but it wasn't bad. I will say it's not my favorite though. It's a little too linear for my taste. You know, Sumo 6 is like an actual circle. This is more of just a rectangle. And while it's not a bad map in my opinion, it's not amazing either. But honestly, I think a lot of people will fall off this map because, like, you have to go to these shipping containers, you know, so there's like these gaps in between them and just, you know, some small planks that you can drive over. And while that's interesting, I think that's actually kind of cool how there are like these, you know, gaps in the middle of the map. We haven't seen that for any other Sumo map. And then also you have Sumo 6, which is at the Sidon's restaurant at the airport. And this is actually a very, very fun map. In my opinion, it may actually be one of the best Sumo maps. It's very good. Now, both of these are 8 players, by the way. But Sumo 6 is sort of this circle with ramps off the side. And I really, really like this map. It's very simplistic and probably one of my favorite Sumo maps. I had a lot of fun on this map. I like it more in faster vehicles. So if you're a fan of like the muscle cars or sports classics and stuff like that on Sumo, I don't know if you'd like this one as much, but, you know, it does favor a lot of faster movement, and it's just good, in my opinion. I really like it. Now, I haven't played it with 4 teams, but I'm kind of, you know, excited to actually see if I can get a 4-team match of this, because that, in my opinion, will probably be one of the best Sumo experiences you can have, just because, I mean, it's so simplistic, but at the same time, it's, in my opinion, pretty good. If you take the other maps, I guess the Maze Bank is kind of the only exception. They're not exactly as simplistic as this. You know, you have obstacles in the middle, or you know, the one that's on the island. That one's also, you know, that one's not exactly even. You know, but while some people may not like that, you know, symmetrical gameplay, I really do, and I think that this is one of the best Sumo maps in the entire game. And I really like how Rockstar is just putting in these maps. You know. Because in my opinion, and if you haven't seen my review on Sumo, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to listen in more detail. My thought on Sumo was that it was good, but it wasn't the best. And one problem was kind of the maps. They weren't too amazing in my opinion, and just the fact that there weren't that many. So there's only 4 maps, and that's kind of one problem with a lot of adversary modes. You know, they put them in and there's only like 3-4 maps, and it just gets repetitive because you've played all the maps in like an hour. So, you know, you play the game mode and you're like, okay, this is cool. This is a cool game mode. And then like a few hours later, you're like, well, I've already played the maps. I've pretty much done everything in this game mode. And there aren't enough reasons to go back. You know, and you could say, well, I mean, you know, there's other game modes. Well, why don't people get bored of that? But that's because if you take like a race, if you take a deathmatch, if you take an LTS, they have the creator, which is basically an infinite amount of replayability. It's just dependent on who makes the jobs and, you know, how many people actually do make those jobs. You know, since people can build them, you know, you have a pretty big shift in each map. You can't really say that too much about the other maps, about the adversary modes, because Rockstar makes them. And it just kind of sucks that a lot of these adversary modes just kind of fall by the wayside eventually, because there aren't enough maps, you know, and people just get bored. You know, there aren't that many adversary modes that I see anymore. You know, since there are so many, I feel like that is kind of a problem in my opinion. I love adversary modes. I think I'm one of the few players that actually does, since a lot of people seem to actually not like adversary modes, but I do. But I feel like sometimes they add too many, so it's like kind of people don't know what to play, and they forget about them, because there's this new adversary mode, and then like a few weeks later, there's another one, and you just forget about the one before. Yeah, it is kind of nice that they are adding new adversary modes, trying to keep this game mode alive, because a lot of people do like it. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's not something I think I'll play forever, but it's still it's a bit of fun every now and again. It's not too competitive, so I feel like that is one reason why a lot of people like it. Is it's not too serious, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. So a lot of people do really seem to like it, and it is just kind of nice that these maps are in the game. And if you wanted to know my thoughts on these maps, they're pretty good. Honestly, I think Sumo 6 is a little bit better than Sumo 5. I like the airport one a little bit more. But other than that, I really do like how they are adding these new maps, and hopefully we'll see maybe a few more. Who knows if we'll get any more for Sumo, but, it would be nice if we got more maps for these adversary modes, or maybe just a creator so that people can actually create these, because that would be nice. And I feel like that would get a lot more people playing these adversary modes, because even if they go back to an old one that people probably forgot about, and in a new update, or it doesn't even have to be in a new update necessarily, just put them in and just put out a post on a newswire someday, and you're like, oh, Cross the Line is getting 2 new maps today, or Beast vs Slasher is getting 2 new maps today, or another one would be Every Bullet Counts, or there's a lot of maps. Siege Mentality. There's a lot of game modes that I'm sure a lot of people forget about, and I feel like it'd be nice because it would get people. They're like, oh yeah, there's this game mode I completely forgot about, but there's 2 new maps. Let's go play them. And while it may not get people playing in the long run, I feel like a creator would be better for the long run. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Have you played the new Sumo maps? And if you want to let me know your thoughts on them, let me know them in the comments. But hope you enjoy. Your feedback is appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next video.